Hi everybody, I'm Giancarlo.
And I'm Erica. Replacing Felicia.
Yes, for a couple of episodes, but you'll be added on as well.
Okay.
It's not just replacing. This is our review of
Neon City Rumble.
which you thought it was Corset before. So you're good.
Getting there.
Good replacement with Felicia too. Not replacement because she screws up. Substitution. Yeah, she's been busy. So yeah, this is our preview of. It's not a preview. It's a review. See, I'm it up. You see,
Sorry,
you're better than I am right now. And I've been doing it for like years. Who the fuck is that guy talking back? What are you talking for? Neon City Rumble simulates a street gang tag team or solo combat with mutated fighters caused by a radioactive fallout circa the 1990s. Knock out all the fighters from a team and you win. To set up, place the play match sheet in the middle of the table. Remove 2 Sucker Punch from the Brawl deck and shuffle it and the Neon, item, and weapon decks in their respective piles in the pit stop. Determine the first player randomly, and he'll choose a fighter, then his opponents, until all have chosen 5. The first player will also decide if he wants to go first as the attacker or defender. Both players draw 3 Brawl and 1 Neon card each. Now they'll enter the pit stop to move fighters around and or bank cards. But we'll get into banking cards a little later. For now, let's assume both players keep their cards. We're now ready for combat.
Each turn consists of 3 phases in order: strike, attack, defend, and counter. In the strike phase, the attacking player may use fighter's unique strike ability found here on the card. To do so, he'll need to use a Neon card with the same type and cost required by the strike listed here. The 4 types are Rage, Cosmo, Toxic, and Chrome. A Neon card titled Natural will grant you 1 worth of said type. Super will grant you 2, and Ultra will grant you 3. If you're using a strike, the opponent may decide to cancel it by playing a card with the opposite negative type, at which point the striker may use more Neon card to meet the required cost. Example, Pong's strike requires 3 Rage, but if he had used 3 natural Rage cards, the defender could use 1 natural Chrome to cancel 1 card. At which point, the attacker must pay the missing cost for the strike to be successful. If so, the special ability activates.
Next phase is Attack Defend. Here, players will play a Brawl card in front of their fighters face down. You decide on which fighter to play cards on, any, all, or none. The attacker will place a card face down with the attacking section on top, while the defender will place his with the defense section on top. When done, all players reveal their cards. There are 4 types of attack: punch, uppercut, kick, and sweep. Likewise, there are 4 defensive types that will negate each attack. They are block, parry, jump, and duck. If the defender revealed the defense with the color matching the attack, it has been negated successfully and no damage will be dealt. If the defense failed, the attacker will inflict 1 point of damage or 2 damage should the fighter have used the attack type matching his Brawl mastery found here. Now, should an attack or defense have these Neon types in these slots, it means the player may pay the required Neon to inflict more damage. This is called boosting. For each type paid as shown on your Brawl card, you will inflict 1 more point of damage to the opposing fighter, be he defender or attacker. When all damage is resolved, each player will draw a Neon card for each fighter that successfully hit one of the opponents using Brawl cards. If a fighter knocked out another with excess damage, this is called overkill. The victor will draw a Neon card for each point of excess damage.
When the attack-defend phase is done, we move to counter. Much like the strike phase, here it will be the defender's turn to perform his counter. This works the same way as strike in terms of payment and how to cancel the counter. When done, we move on to the phase outside of combat called the pit stop. This happens all the time between combat turns. First, each player will draw 3 Brawl cards. Then they'll be able to bank cards and collect money if any, and rearrange their fighters, maybe place wounded ones on the bench. To bank a card, you simply place a Neon, item, or weapon card face up off the mat, like this one on the side. These cards remain here a full combat round, at which point it'll award you money. With this money, you can buy cards with prices listed conveniently on the back here. The upper left icon will tell you when the card can be used, and just like Brawl cards, they may also be successfully negated with the right defense as listed here. During the pit stop, you may also wish to revive a KO'd fighter. To do so, you'll need to pay in cash the cost listed here next to the skull. You can only revive 1 fighter per game, so use this action wisely. When players are done the pit stop, A new combat turn begins, this time with the defender playing as the attacker. Players continue until the fighters of the opponent has been knocked out. Before that, however, there is a specific mechanic we didn't talk about called Second Wind. This simply means that if ever a player has only one fighter left, that fighter can use brawl cards for attacking and defending against each opposing fighter. When a player manages to KO all of the opposing fighters, he wins.
So maybe you're thinking exactly what I'm thinking. Another card game taking the video game graphic concept. This time taking the route of those popular fighting games like Double Dragon and King of Fighters back in the 90s heyday with a Sega Genesis looking box as opposed to a Nintendo one. And I wouldn't mind if it was one of the first to do so, like Boss Monster or Pixel Tactics, but I like to move on from another one of these copycat games. Now, it wouldn't be that bad if it introduced new mechanics, but this game really didn't. You got the same old playing cards to do action, collecting resource via neon cards, and having that blind luck of die rolling or guessing with no real basis on what your opponent is going to play. Really, the attack-defense step is like playing rock, paper, scissors while having someone play Dance Dance Revolution in the background. And yes, I understand this is supposed to be a casual game, but as such, the base version, the one we showed you, can drag on for hours. I mean, it's long for a casual game, especially if you have healers in your team. And a lot of things aren't clear. For example, lock and Noki strike ability. Should you get tails on a coin toss, you do +1 damage to animal monster types. Okay, well, is Chef Grenouille a monster? Or is that just a stylized human? What about Ronnie Ronin? Is he human and has a mask, or is that really his face making him a monster? 101 basic game design, include character type on the cards. Nowhere to be found. Or how's this, for example? Is this for 1 to 4 players or 1 to 6? Or as the first sentence says here, for 2 players. For the record, the game can be played from 1 to 6, so just leave it at that. And now look at the character card, the artwork. It's absolutely phenomenal. Look at this. I mean, why go with the 1632-bit concept? These are so freaking awesome as is. Keep it. And there are tons of these characters, so making a new team roster every time will add to replay value, along with different game modes, if you could get into this game. And components are alright, besides this playmat, but whatever, let's move on. I mean, I don't know what else to say. Tactics are reduced to diversifying your fighter picks with different neon types at the beginning of the game, benching your wounded ones, and banking cards in hopes of drawing the good ones, as some are just way better than others. Unfortunately, there's way better games that take on the video game concept out there. Like I say all the time, you should know by now if this game is good for you. Unfortunately for us, it didn't quite cut it. Neon City Rumble gets a 3 out of 10.
Who's this guy? Should I film him?
No! Okay, I'm sorry. It was so natural, I thought it was finished.
This is so unprofessional, guys.
Okay, I'm sorry.
It's so unprofessional having...
Dave, the second shoot, she's already saying that. She's laying the law down, how it is.